Rose, ask if Navier wants to persuade Miss Mullany, who are not Krista's subordinates. The Queen answered that she want to get her on her side. However, Rose explained that Miss Mullany is ambitious and doesn't like to serve others, but the Queen answered it's okay. She was thinking about Duchess Tuania, who is a friend of her, and she want to search for her, but she doesn't want to her face using a poster. An idea came up on her mind that she called a journalist. The journalist Janan is called to write an article about Navier's adjustment to the Western Kingdom. Janan is unsure of what to write, but agrees to include her old friends' names in the article. Navier mentions Duchess Tuania among her ladies in waiting that she misses and wanted to see. The Queen is confident that Duchess Tuania will recognize her interest and will fulfill her promise. If she does read the article and went to the palace, she may eventually dominate the high society of the Western Kingdom. In high society, she needed a socialite to approach them personally, which is close to her and role befits Nyan. Then, a knock at the door led to the Queen being asked by Heinley if she is lonely. Heinley is concerned about an article about the Queen being lonely, but she informed Heinley that she had asked a journalist to publish it. She repeat that she is fine, but Heinley offers to spend the night with her as Queen. Heinley reveals it's a joke, but she warns him about dressing him in bird form, but Heinley teasingly asks if they should dress together as a couple. Her ladies-in-waiting is surprised by Heinley's strange words, including spending the night by her side. Navier hurries Heinley into her room, ensuring there will no any rumors about him being a playboy and naked king to come up. The Queen is in a dominant position and is embarrassed by Heinley's joking. Heinley is anxious about her interview and asks if she feels lonely when next to him. The Queen reassures Heinley that she is fine and that she doesn't feel lonely here. Heinley is happy to hear that he is one of the reasons she is not lonely. Heinley's expression was strange, and he said that he want to confess something to her. The Queen was embarrassed and thought he was trying to say he liked her. She didn't expect that his feelings is on another level. She only thought that his feelings is more like of a friendship. Heinley is surprised that she already knew about what he will confess, expressing sadness that she already expected it. Heinley announced that she would become the first empress of the Western Empire on their wedding day. The Queen was initially confused, but later realized that Heinley intended to proclaim himself emperor. The Queen is absorbed in a book when a journalist from the Blue newspaper came and wants to interview her. She agrees to let him in, and Mondri questions the Queen's reputation for love for the Eastern Empire. The journalist is worried about the potential conflict between the Eastern Empire and the Western Kingdom, and wonders what the Queen would do in this situation. Sovieshu is restless and worried about the letter he sent to Navier, wondering if it has reached her. He is confident that everything will return to normal. However, he still has to go into the audience chamber, feeling troubled by the heavy atmosphere of requests for blessings for couples getting married. The last couple he sees is a married couple with a 14-year-old girl, who asks for his blessing. He suddenly remembers the orphan girl that Navier cared for. Sovieshu calls Navier's aide and discuss an orphan she took care of. The aide answered that the orphan is still receiving patronage from Duke Troby. Sovieshu requests to see the girl to ensure her well-being, and he will be the one to send patronage to her. Sovieshu opposed leaving her in the magical academy. He wanted her to find a new future and even allow her to stay in the capital, so that when Navier come back, she will be happy to see her. Rashta is shocked by Sovieshu's order to bring a girl, possibly a mage, before their wedding. She believes Sovieshu will never cheat on her and worried about the possibility of Sovieshu changing his mind and making the other girl the empress. After Viscount Rotesha leaves, Delise, who overheard the conversation, reassures Rashta that the emperor will never cheat on her, but she becomes angry and questions her knowledge of Sovieshu more than her as his wife. Journalist Mondri asked which side will the Queen choose if a conflict arises between the Eastern and Western, and she answered that she was in no position to choose a side since the Queen's power was primarily responsible for internal affairs. Navier is excited to hear about Laura and Countess Jubal, her ladies-in-waiting from the Eastern Empire, arriving in the Western Kingdom. They share their deep affection and bond over years of togetherness. Upon arrival in the Western Kingdom, a series of positive events occurred, including a visit from Duchess Tuania, whom she had hoped to bring from her interview. Duchess Tuania hugged the Queen back with reddening eyes when she stretched her arms and hugged her. She preferred be called Nyan, her given name, because she explained that she is tired with marriage. Nyan asked Navier what can she do for her. And the queen explained her circumstances with Krista, the former queen, and asked Nyan in conquering high society in the Western Kingdom. Heinley's aide arrives at the door to report unidentified knights stationed near the capital. He is puzzled by the pale appearance of the aide, who suggests finding out who they are and having them leave if they are considered dangerous. The aide, however, denies this, stating that they appear to be supranational knights. The Wall Alliance, comprising the Eastern Empire and Western Kingdom, managed the supranational knights, known as Shadow Knights, to preserve peace. They were known for preventing threats to peace. Heinley accelerated the decline of mages, and he was nervous about the supranational knights stationed outside the capital. McKenna report that the man leading them is Viscount Langdell, who he met at New Year's celebrations. Heinley is puzzled by Langdell's naive face and his appearance, which makes him question his role as a supranational knight. In a conference room, officials were surprised to see Viscount Langdell, commander of the 5th Division of the Shadow Knights, in broad daylight. Viscount Langdell responded by mentioning that the Queen saved his life in the past and asked Heinley to serve as Queen's personal knights until her guard is determined. Krista is bitter about a supranational knight commander serving Navier. She decides to send a flower basket to Navier, but her ladies-in-waiting dislike Navier and her subordinate. Krista explains that her friendliness to the current queen is important, and that the commander came to support her. She believes that fighting is unnecessary as long as Navier doesn't do anything wrong. Queen Navier unexpectedly encountered Viscount Langdell, who greeted her with a twitchy, bowed knee. He offered to repay her kindness, and the queen accepted the offer. Viscount Langdell's proposal to allow them to be her personal knights exceeded her expectations. The queen meets a visitor from the Eastern Empire, who is not a friend. Laura and Countess Jubal's faces freeze as the visitor smiles bitterly. Navier assumes he has come for another purpose, and the visitor presents a letter. She receives a letter from Sovieshu that explains his plan to divorce her for a year and reinstate her again as empress after making his child to Rashta legitimate. The queen is uncomfortable with his decision and feels that she cannot love a child who doesn't came from her and didn't want that child to bear hatred to her while she is the empress. She decides not to reply to the letter and tells Sovieshu's envoy to leave the Western Kingdom. Navier feels a sense of being in the Western Kingdom and the Eastern Empire simultaneously, until she saw Heinley, who appears at the window and explains that he came to talk. The queen asks Heinley if he heard about an envoy from His Majesty the Emperor, but Heinley replies that he is worried that it would affect her. She added that she receives a letter from Sovieshu and Heinley become anxious. Navier told him that she didn't write a reply to the letter and reassures him that she is now his wife and he didn't need to worry. Heinley expresses relief and finds Heinley cute and lovely.